So yet again, I would want to confirm my voice is loud and clear. We'll want to begin with question 1, which reads number of equivalents of HCl in a solution with pH is equal to 4. Now, the number of equivalents of HCl in a solution with pH is equal to 4. The catch in the problem is the solution is 100 ml. Please go ahead, tell me
D.
what is the right answer.
Option
D.
option D.
Delhi.
D.
10 to
Delhi.
the power minus 5.
D Delhi.
-5.
Naturally, I was expecting all of you to attempt it and solve it, and I'm so happy all of you are giving me the right answer. Naturally, pH is equal to 4 will mean H plus is equal to 10 to the power minus 4, but let's not forget this is 10 to the power minus 4 moles per liter, which is as good as 10 to the power minus 5 moles in say 100 ml. So option D, which is 10 to the power minus 5, is indeed the right answer. We'll want to move on. We'll want to talk about question 2 now.
So B, Bombay.
Option C.
C, between 6 and
C
7.
between 6 and
Calcutta.
7.
Option
Six and
C.
6 and
C.
7.
Sir, option C.
Also between 6 and 7.
Naturally, I'm expecting everybody to have understood this. 10 to the power 5 minus 5 molar, 10 to the power minus 5 molar HCl is as good as a solution with a pH is equal to 5, diluted 1,000 times. Now, diluted 1,000 times would mean it has become 10 to the power minus 8 molar. And so many times I've said this pH is equal to 8 is a mistake you'll not want to do. I've explained it so many times in the class, you'll want to consider H plus
From the water.
water as well. So, when you take HCl and H plus water, naturally something like 10 to the power minus 8 plus 10 to the power minus 7. And trust me, I'm not considering common effect and not going into the unwanted calculations here. This will be almost equal to 11 into 10 to the power minus 8. And as I told you, pH almost equal to 8 minus log 11 would be a value almost equal to 6.9 something. I deliberately leave this vacant because 6.96, 6.98 are different answers, which will be right. But all in all, it will be value less than 7. Which I reckon is option C.
C.
Calcutta.
Between 6 and 7. We'll want to move on to question 3. Now, this is a basic thumb rule. Till 10 to the power minus 5 molar HCl, that's basic thumb rule. Till 10 to the power minus 5 HCl. So, 10 to the power minus 3 molar HCl, 10 to the power minus 4 molar HCl, 10 to the power minus 5 molar HCl. We are allowed to write, say, pH is equal to 3, 4, and 5. Now, 10 to the power minus 6 molar HCl, and here, this value is not very, very small compared to 10 to the power minus 7. So, here we believe that the value is going to be less than 6.
Less than 6.
Just
And
like
again, for 10 to the power minus 7 and 10 to the power minus 8, we'll be told that this value is going to be less than 7. So this is a basic thumb rule which you'll want to follow. I hope I'm being understood. We'll want to move to question 4 now. बच्चे लोग हाँ ना बोलो.
D for Delhi.
Yes,
so
sir.
Delhi.
D, 3.3.
This is better, or if please tell me if this is better or if this is better. I'm trying to just switch off a light. Please tell me if this is better or this is better. Is this better?
This is better.
I think this is better. We move to question 4. Yet again, question 4 is about equal volumes of pH 3 and pH 5 are mixed. So question 4 is about equal volume of pH 3 and pH 5 mixed. You have to find the pH of the mixture. So again, around this time, I expect most of you to have done it. Please go ahead, tell me what is the right answer.
3.3.
Option D.
3.3, sir.
3.3.
So option D, 3.3 seems to be the common answer. Let me give you a formal solution. The formal solution will be, suppose I take VML of both, Now, VML of both would be V into 10 to the power minus 3 and V into 10 to the power minus 5 is like total H plus. And the moment I write this as a square bracket, I need to divide it with the total volume, which is 2V, having added equal volume of the two. Please go ahead and tell me if you're understanding me or not.
Yes,
As
sir.
good as. It's as good as 15 to 10 to the power minus 5. Hope I'm doing it all right. And pH will be almost 5 minus log 50. Now 5 minus log 50 would be like 5 minus log of 100 by 2, which is like 5 minus log 100 plus log 2 would be like 2 plus 0.3. Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
We'll want to move on. So these are routine questions which might, be there in JEE mains and all. Question 5. Yes, you're all happy with this. You can
Sir,
take a screenshot and we'll want to move on. Yes, please tell me.
Sir,
A7.
7.
E7.
Naturally, the moment you see 4 gram NaOH plus 4.9 gram of H2SO4, this is like 0.1 equivalent and this is also 0.1 equivalent. Now, it doesn't matter. It is diluted to any volume. It is diluted to any volume. In this case, it's diluted to whatever volume. If it's diluted to 250 ml in this problem, or it could be any random value, this will not make any difference. pH will be equal to 7 because a salt of strong acid and strong base, a salt of strong acid and strong base will have no hydrolysis. So pH 7 is going to be the right answer to this. I think you're all there with me. बच्चे लोग हाँ ना बोलो, will want to move at a faster pace than this.
हाँ, sir.
Question
हाँ,
6.
हाँ, sir.
6. Bombay. 10 to the It power should be Bombay
11.
11.
25 ml of 0.1 molar NaOH, 25 ml of 0.1 molar NaOH, plus, I think it's 25 ml of 0.08 molar HCl. So is the final solution going to be acidic or basic?
Logically basic.
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 Basics.
Any day it's going to be basic. Any day it's going to be basic. Because the moment I write NaOH 25 ml of 0.1 molar, we realize that the OH minus which we'll have from here is 2.5 millimole, and the H plus which we'll want to have from here is 2 millimole, if I'm not mistaken. And with square bracket, I cut it short. I cut it short. With square bracket, I cut it short. Once in a while, I end up doing a mistake of this kind. Sorry about this. OH minus will be left. Tell me, what is the volume which I need to see here? What's the volume which I need to see here?
500.
Yes, please.
500.
500 ml.
Because it's diluted to 500 ml, this is diluted to 500 ml. This is diluted to 500 ml. That's a part of the question. It's diluted to 500 ml. I was about to write 50. I just forgot that, there's something more in the problem. So 500 is what I need to write. And 0.5 by 500 would be like 10 to the power minus 3, which will naturally give me pOH is equal to 3 and pH is equal to 11.
11.
We'll want to move on. That's option B, I reckon.
B.
That's option B, I reckon. That's the right answer here. We'll want to move on. Question 7.
So B.
That's also B, Bombay.
900
ml.
900 ml.
How much water must be added to 300 ml of 0.2 molar acetic acid for alpha to become twice of the initial value?
Post-wall dilution.
We move to question 7. Now, question 7 is, you have initially 300 ml of 0.2 molar acetic acid. You have 300 ml of 0.2 molar acetic acid. And the question is, volume of water added for alpha to become twice. I'm just cutting short the language of the problem. What is the volume of water added for degree of dissociation to become twice at the same temperature? Now, naturally, they have given you a value of K. They have given you the value of K, which is the age-old value of 1.8 into 10 to the power minus 5. Neither this will be required nor this will be required. Now, people who are coming up with the right answer, which is, say, B Bombay, would want to quickly elaborate. How do you get B Bombay?
Oswald dilution law.
Oswald
Alpha is
dilution law.
proportional to
Sir,
the root of
alpha
dilution.
Alpha naturally being proportional to 1 upon
Root of-
concentration and root of this. I would want to write if it becomes twice, if I write alpha 2 by alpha 1 is equal to like concentration 1 upon concentration 2. And if I want this to be 2, I rather
Four times.
obviously want concentration 2 to have become 1/4. So C2 becoming 1/4, C2 becoming 1/4, C2 becoming 1/4 is about, diluted 4 times. And if it is diluted 4 times, 300 ml needs to become
1200 ml.
1200 ml, where naturally the volume of water added would be 900 ml of water. So somebody, would want to give me a formal solution at his or her convenience. But when it comes to a real exam, I'll cut it short. I would not want to write V1 N1 is equal to V2 N2 every time. So many times, I would not want to use 0.2 molar. Naturally, the final concentration of the solution, the C2 is going to be 0.2 by 4. And I could have done N1 V1 is equal to N2 V2 kind of a stuff here. M1 V1 is equal to M2 V2 kind of a stuff here. But so many times I avoid doing all of it. I realize you understand if it's becoming diluted 4 times, 300 will become 1200 only, and volume of water added will be 900. I could have done it, more formally in this way. I think I'm being understood. बच्चे लोग हाँ ना बोलो.
हाँ, sir.
Yes.
Question 8 is about a set of K values given, and it's
Option
as
A.
simple as it looks. It's as simple as it looks. You have Ka values for XSO4 minus and it's 1.2 into 10 to the power minus 2, I reckon. You have Ka value of, and these are real J means questions, trust me, very recent J means questions, 6.3 into 10 to the power minus 8. And you have a Ka value of XCO3 minus, I reckon, which is given as
4.7 into 10 to the power minus 2.
So, the question is, which is the strongest base?
So CO3 to minus.
CO3
सर
to
That's
जिसका
right. It
सर
never
जिसका
goes
एसिड
wrong.
सबसे सर जिसका एसिड सबसे वीक होगा उसका बेस कॉन्जुगेट बेस सबसे स्ट्रांग होगा
हाँ सर
Naturally,
पीके
universal,
मोस्ट पीके होगा
universal.
उसका बेसिस ही सबसे ज्यादा होगा कंजुगेट बेस
Universal, I can understand both चौधरी जी और वेद दोनों का आवाज में पहचानता हूँ, और लोग को ना रिस्पॉन्ड करने का जरूरत है. K का मतलब ही होता है excluding H plus by an equilibrium, and if the K value is high, naturally the Kb of the conjugate base will be low and vice versa. This is purely Bronsted-Lowry concept. Acid is losing H plus, you look back, A minus is gaining H plus. So naturally, a stronger acid will have a weaker conjugate base and vice versa. So this time, because I'm looking for a stronger base, because a stronger base is, going to come from a weaker acid, this is universal. The one which is the weakest, here in this case, bicarbonate. And I would want to rather tell you that the overall order of basicity would be like carbonate more than, when I write carbonate, I'm removing H plus. So, these are things which you need to be really good at. HPO4 2 minus is the conjugate base of HPO4 minus. And sulfate is naturally the conjugate base of bisulfate. This has to be the order of basicity. I think I'm being understood. We'll want to move on. Question 9 is an interesting one.
Option
Question
D.
9 is an interesting
Option
one.
Delhi 2 log
Delhi.
4.
D Delhi
2 log 4.
Again, when I go solving it clinically, I would want to seek your approval on this. When I go solving it clinically, I get minus 2 log 4. because of the distance between 1/5 and 4/5. But out of the four options, I'll go with D, do log 4. I did this question, something very similar in the previous class as well. So it's again a very, very typical JEE mains question. ये JEE का culture में बहुत बार ये पहले पूछा है. 0.1 molar acetic acid, 0.1 molar acetic acid, or formic acid in this case, plus 0.1 molar NaOH. And these data are of no sequence. You have to find the difference in pH. You have to find the difference in pH between 1/5 and 4/5 stage of, and this is very important. See, this is very important. Neutralization of acid. The moment they write neutralization of acid, acid is going to be the one which is titrated against NaOH, falling as the limiting reagent. 1/5 और 4/5 अगर एसिड का न्यूट्रलाइजेशन हो रहा है, इसका मतलब ये कि NaOH लिमिटिंग रिएजेंट. तो ये बात समझ में आना चाहिए सबको. कोई डाउट है तो मेरे से कोई पूछ सकता है. ये 0.1 से कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता है. 1/5 4/5 स्टेज का मतलब ये है, ये 1 - 1/5 लिखेंगे हम लोग, which is say 4/5 left, and ये 1/5 formed. So I'm cutting it short. I'm right away arriving at the Henderson equation. This is pKa plus log of. I just want to spare one particular step here, and I could have also skipped it, but log of 1/4 is at 1/5 stage. Please tell me if there's a doubt. And naturally, 4/5 stage of neutralization is when the acid is getting over by 4/5. So it's going to be 1 minus 4/5, which is like 1/5 left, and 4/5 consume हो गया, मतलब 4/5 is formed. And this equation is going to look like pH is equal to pKa, and I'll write it right away. 4/5 by 1/5 is log 4. So I'll write this equation and I'll write this equation. Ideally, 1 minus 2 gives me -2 log 2. -2 log 4 rather, but in this case, out of the options, the difference is -2 log 4 to be very clinical, or 2 log 4 according to the statement, which is option D here. We'll want to move on. Anything you want me to repeat? Any question you could not understand so far? Question 10 is what I want to talk about, and then we'll plunge into
Option B for Bombay.
D for Bombay.
So for a change, I'm getting two different answers here. People saying B and D. B for Bombay, D for Delhi.
नहीं सर, सब बॉम्बे ही बोले, सब जन बॉम्बे बोले.
40 ml of 0.1 molar and 20 ml of 0.1 molar HCl was added when the titration is over. So you have a story at hand. The story at hand is you have a weak acid HA. You have a weak acid HA to which you are adding 40 ml of 0.1 molar NaOH to reach equivalence. So when you're adding NaOH, which is 40 ml of 0.1 molar to reach equivalence, naturally this means that you had 4 millimole of NaOH required to titrate HA, which means this was certainly 4 millimole to begin with. So this is an information that 4 millimole of weak acid with 4 millimole of NaOH, and is naturally giving you NaA, which is 4 millimole. Yes or no? The problem continues. You add 20 ml of 0.1 molar HCl. So to this you add 20 ml of 0.1 molar HCl, and you want the final pH here. I think this is the problem. But chalo, हाँ ना बोलो.
हाँ sir.
So naturally, NaA, a sort of strong base and weak acid in presence of H plus.
Excuse me,
Yes,
sir.
somebody needs to. Yes, please.
Sir, there is more to the question. इसमें लिखा है pH was found to be 5 after adding HCl. उसके बाद question है कि what will be the solution by mixing इतना NaOH and HA weak acid.
Oh. So they tell you कि यहाँ पर pH 5 है. I'm sorry, I didn't read it properly. यहाँ पर pH 5 है. They tell you यहाँ पर pH 5 है.
Yes, sir. So इसे PK
सॉरी
निकाल
यहाँ
सकता
पर pH 5 है, यहाँ पर बोलता है pH 5 है, तो यहाँ पर अगर pH 5 है, तो you go by the language, it is 4 millimole, but 2 millimole of H plus produces 2 millimole of HA, and this is basically telling you that 5 is equal to pKa plus log of, now 4 में अगर 2 ऐड करोगे, this will be 2 millimole left,
वो 0 हो जाएगा.
2 millimole form. So this tells you pKa is equal to 5. I think this is the information at hand.
हाँ sir.
I didn't read the question properly. You have to eventually find the pH of 20 ml of 0.2 ml plus 20 ml of 0.2 ml HA. So this information is to give you the Ka value, and now the real question is find pH of 20 ml of 0.1 molar of this HA plus 20 ml of 0.1 molar NaOH. So this is the real problem. All of the setup is to give you the pKa value of 5.
Salt
Please tell me
hydrolysis.
if there is any doubt.
Salt hydrolysis हो जाएगा.
है ना? The entire setup is to give you the value of pKa or K. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
No,
Yes, sir.
naturally the two will get over. I'm not going into writing the equation. You realize it's going to be a problem of salt hydrolysis where the value of pKa will come handy. And this being a salt of strong base weak acid, pH will be 7 plus half pKa plus half log C. And around this time, you should understand that every time you have equal volumes given, the concentration of the salt will be half, So if it's 4 and 4 becoming 4 by 40, ये 0.2 में से 0.1 ही होगा. ये थोड़ा सा ना समझ में आ जाना चाहिए. मैं यहाँ पर करके दिखा दे रहा हूँ कि 4 by 40 होता है. But around this time you realize कि 0.2 acid 0.2 base होगा, तो जो सॉल्ट बनेगा उसका कंसेंट्रेशन उसका हाफ ही होगा. ये हमेशा 0.1 ही आएगा. यस और नो बच्चे लोग?
हाँ sir.
हाँ, sir.
Now what do you get here? What is the final
9.
answer?
9 हो जाएगा.
9.
How many of you got all 10 right? How many of you got all 10 right? Tell me your names.
Sir,
Maybe.
Ved.
So it's Mehul who got all 10 right, Ved who got all, Utsavi who got all 10 right,
So me also, Vani.
Vani got all 10 right.
फिर आया also Ratisha.
Sugrant.
हाँ, रितिशा को पता है कि मेरे को उसका आवाज मालूम है.
Sugrant.
अब रितिशा का और उत्सवी का तो अभी मेंस आ ही गया. वो लोग को कोई किताब तो नहीं चाहिए. वो लोग को मैं देखता हूँ. You come to me and you'll maybe receive some Cadbury's or chocolates or whatever you ask for. People in class 11 right now, give me your address. अब मैं ना किताब क्लास में नहीं लाऊंगा. मेरे को एड्रेस व्हाट्सएप करो,
Grant
किताब का नाम
also.
करो, सीधा. Yes, please.
Grant also.
Grant is also, asking for some goodies. Fine. चलो यार, अब आगे बढ़ते हैं. इसके बाद वाला जो सेट है ना, इसका कुछ क्वेश्चन है जो कि कभी कभी थोड़ा सा परेशान करता है. More than the answer, I'll be looking at the way you have solved it. I'm really sorry for not being able to give you the complete data first hand. Some of you would be wondering, question 1 जो है, उसमें KaHCl missing है. But I would be
हाँ
really
sir, वो
happy.
बफर का.
फिर क्वेश्चन 4 में भी
बफर कुछ
शायद
नहीं है,
तक
बफर
डेटा
कुछ नहीं
मिसिंग
है.
होगा.
सर क्वेश्चन 4 में भी डेटा नहीं है शायद. उसमें भी
वो देख लेता हूँ मैं. वो
SKSP
डेटा मेरे को मिला भी नहीं. मैं थोड़ा सा बाहर था, वो डेटा मेरे को मिला भी नहीं. KHP of AgCl is 1.2 into 10 to the power minus 16. You have to find solubility. I'll give you a minute to do this. Now, pure water and maybe 0.01 molar of KCl or NaCl or NaNO3 KCl, I believe, given in this case, is again a cakewalk. Buffer of pH 3 is going to take some effort. Buffer of pH 3 will take some effort. This is something which we'll talk about, given Ka for HCN as 4.8 into 10 to the power minus 10. Now, this is an information which I failed to give you. I'm really sorry about the same. Now, tell me, I gave you the answer to this question. You have the answer given along with the question. I think there's no problem in finding A. I don't think A and B would pose any problem. A is equal to root KSP, and we'll want to believe root over of 1.2 into 10 to the power minus 16 is going to be almost 1.1 into 10 to the power minus 8 moles per liter. So that's not a problem, I believe.
नहीं
तो
सर
चलो हाँ ना बोलो.
हाँ सो
हाँ सर
हाँ
हाँ
बी
सर
सर
में मैं कितना बार बताया हूँ, बी में कितना बार मैं बताया हूँ कि हम लोग ना वो किताब वाला भाषा का प्रयोग नहीं करते हैं. हम लोग सिंपली
तो जो भी CN आएगा वो KCN से ही आएगा.
जितना
जो भी
CN होगा सब
S
KCN
into
से आएगा.
0.01.
एस प्लस 0.01 और एस स्क्वायर को नेग्लेक्ट करने वाला ड्रामा नहीं करते हैं. We believe all of Cn minus will come from Kcn only, and that would certainly give me S is equal to 1.2 into 10 to the power minus 14. So that's not a problem again, I believe. We'll talk about the question at hand in case you have a buffer of pH 3, which is as good as realizing you have a constant H plus of 10 to the power minus 3 molar, which you believe is a very significant value. And naturally, HCl, the Ka value would mean, this equilibrium will also come into play.
So the
I
Cn
like
minus
that.
which is getting created वो H plus consume करके HCN बनाएगा and then उधर हम लोग Cn minus को से concentration निकालेंगे, फिर वो concentration निकालने के बाद S का value भी निकल ही जाएगा.
अब मैं बताऊं, I would want somebody to tell me exactly what happens in presence of H plus. You have told me
प्लस
the
CN माइनस
method
को
of
सर
solving this.
वो रियाक्ट करके HCN बना देगा जो सोल्यूबल होता है ना, तो वो सोल्यूबिलिटी बढ़ जाना
Soluble होता
चाहिए.
है?
सर HCN तो सोल्यूबल होता है ना,
हम्म.
तो सर वो दो इक्वेशन आएगा, दोनों इक्वेशन ये AgCN Ag प्लस CN माइनस एंड KCN टू K ये सर हम गलत क्वेश्चन का पढ़ा था. CN माइनस प्लस HCN बना देगा, तो दोनों का ऐड कर देंगे, तो AgCN प्लस H प्लस वुड गिव HCN प्लस Ag प्लस, तो दोनों के
मतलब
इक्विलिब्रियम ऐड कर देंगे.
I'll cut it short. This being a very weak acid, like most of the weak acids, this equilibrium is not moving forward to a very large extent. And what I'll propose is, if it's not moving to a very large extent, the backward reaction, which is Cn minus with H plus becoming HCN, is something which will happen to a very large extent in the forward direction. ये जो मैं बताता हूँ, ये बात समझ में आता है? ऐसा इक्विलिब्रियम में बताता हूँ.
हाँ सर
Now, where is Cn minus coming from? Cn minus is coming from AgCN. Cn minus is coming from AgCN. Now, AgCN, which is in the solid form, giving you Ag plus and Cn minus. I'm going to use this. I'm going to use this Ionic form. So I'm writing deliberately this in Ionic form. Suppose यहाँ से solubility इसका S है, तो Ag plus मेरा S आ रहा है और Cn minus भी मेरा S आ रहा है. अब cyanide क्या होगा ना? H plus के साथ में HCN बन जाएगा. And because ये value इतना छोटा है, I believe this is given very largely to the forward direction. In the sense, ये जो solubility का S है ना, ये SH plus के साथ में HCN बना देगा S. मतलब ये I believe कि this is going to be very, very small. This is going to be very, very small left in the medium. This is going to be very, very small left in the medium. I mean, in the textbooks and all, they give you S minus X, S minus X, S X X सबको करने का जरूरत नहीं है. Keep it very simple. I told you, it's like the reverse of common and effect. It's the reverse of common and effect. What was happening in B was you had a lot of Cn minus and this equilibrium was moving back. So with Cn minus, the equilibrium was moving back. Now with Cn minus being consumed, this equilibrium will move forward. And I believe that because it's moving forward, the solubility will increase. And the amount of cyanide, would be very small because all of it is almost getting converted to HCl. And now when I write this equilibrium, which is the reverse of Ka, is going to be, it's like 1 by Ka, which is like 1 by 4.8 into 10 to the power minus 10. And allow me to write it as, the way we have been writing for equilibrium constants, HCN and H plus and Cn minus. Yes or no? This
Yes,
is one
sir.
particular code. ठीक है. अब इसके बाद जो मैं कर रहा हूं ना, that is very, very basic logic. मतलब I'll not want you to, follow any textbook or a solution book or any book in the market or in the web world, ये सिंपल है कि जितना भी साइनाइड आ रहा होगा वो सारा का सारा HCN ही बन जा रहा है, तो HCN को यहाँ पर जो सोल्यूबिलिटी है वही ले लो, ठीक है। H plus को मैं 10 to the power -3 लेता हूँ for a particular reason that is said to be a buffer where the constant will be almost constant. And I'll take cyanide. See, I'm not sure about the concentration of cyanide. I'm not sure about the concentration of cyanide because naturally it's going to be very small and almost all of it is becoming HCN. But one thing is for sure, that this KP value, which is the product of AgCN, this is another constant at this particular temperature. So everything, kept at one particular hand, cyanide would always be Kp upon Ag plus. This will be always Kp upon Ag plus. So I want to write this as Kp upon Ag plus, which is solubility. If you understand this particular stuff, the solution is within reach. I'm repeating one more time. I've written for the reverse of the K of HCN. HCN, I believe, is all of cyanide becoming HCN. H plus is 10 to the power -3. And I'm writing this as Kp upon the solubility. Please tell me if you have any iota of doubt. If you have any doubt, I want to answer that. But I've seen all sources, cooking different assumptions, different approaches, which is not to my liking. मेरे को लगता है ये समझ में आना चाहिए
KSP/S कैसे होगा?
KSP/S ऐसा होगा कि दुनिया में कुछ भी हो जाए, CN- हमेशा KSP/Ag plus ही होगा, अगर ये KSP/AgCN का है तो, अगर ये KSP/AgCN का है तो this is never going to change. Under any circumstances, this will not change. So you remember you had a lot of CN-, you had a lot of CN-. अरे हाँ ना बोल. In problem B, you had a lot of CN-. In problem B, you had a lot of CN-. This was a constant. So when this was a lot, this was a big value, this was a small value, and the solubility was decreasing. Let's talk about B. I'm writing this in reference to situation C, but situation B and common and effect is as simple as it looks. You raise CN-, Ag plus will become very small. CN- is being used up in a particular way manner, but Ag plus का एक ही source है, which is AgCN dissolving. So eventually solubility will come from Ag plus. So lot of CN- and Ag plus will be lesser. Now if CN- is consumed, the CN- concentration in the solution is very, very small because H plus is eating it up to form HCN. Naturally, Ag plus will be higher. This will remain constant. So this is like H plus OH- is equal to Kw, which will not be overruled in any condition. बच्चे लोग हाँ ना बोलो.
सर ये रिएक्शन हल्का सा रिवर्स क्यों हुआ था?
कौन सा रिएक्शन?
सर ये CN- प्लस H प्लस.
मतलब ये अगर रिवर्स नहीं होता, मतलब हम लोग पहले तो इसको ऐसे ही पढ़ते ना भाई. हम लोग पहले क्या, हम लोग तो हमेशा इसको ऐसे ही पढ़ते ना, जो CN- का सोर्स होता है नॉर्मल वाटर में, अगर पानी में HCN डिसॉल्व करेगा तो साइनाइड कहाँ से आएगा? HCN से ही ना आएगा. अगर AgCN ये सब कहानी नहीं होता तो ये बेसिकली K तो हम लोग यही पढ़ते ना. दिस इज व्हाट वी बिगिन विद, एंड नाउ आई एम टेलिंग यू दैट CN- in this case would be eaten up by H plus. I told you this is a significant number. I told you it's a significant number. Plus it's a buffer. So H plus would not get consumed in the process.
Sure, sir.
Now I'll leave this at this point. Now whatever is left is feeding the value of KSP and all. And this I think is going to give you the final answer as 1.58 into 10 to the power -5. So let me keep it simple. I'll simply write S square. This is S square is equal to KSP का value कितना है दोस्त? 1.2 into 10 to the power -16 into 10 to the power -3. So this is something which you'll want to do of your own, and this will be almost equal to 1.5 into 10 to the power -5 if I'm not wrong. 1.58 is the printed answer. You still have the option of asking your doubts. I'm open to your questions. But as I told you, while giving you this problem, it's actually a standalone problem. ये problem ना ऐसे अलग से ही आता है. Find solubility of AgCl in a buffer, or in case we have H plus 10 to the power minus 3, or in an aqueous medium of HCl with a given concentration of H plus. But I wanted to give you in a format where for pure water I have told you Cn minus का source होने से solubility कम जाता है, and this is like the reverse of common effect. जहाँ पे Cn minus is eaten up would mean solubility will be decreasing. Yes, we can move on.
Yes, sir.
Now this also tells you about question 2. ये भी चौधरी जी का क्वेश्चन था, AgCl is soluble or is more soluble in acidic buffer. Trust me, ये acidic खाली होने से भी चलता, ये बफर नहीं भी होता ना, खाली acidic होने से भी चलता, बट H plus इतना होना चाहिए कि H plus खत्म नहीं हो जाए. मतलब ऐसा नहीं हो कि H plus बहुत कम रहे. यहाँ पे बफर ये substantiate करता है कि the pH is remaining constant and H plus is staying put, and you have a way of replenishing H plus, and it's more than the Cn minus which is coming from AgCl. So this is more like a support, but very acidic conditions, lot of H plus, and AgCl will be more soluble simply because this Cn minus would be eaten up by H plus. Got me?
सर मेरे को इसमें पूछना था कि सर बेसिक बफर में Ag प्लस सेम चीज नहीं कर सकता क्या इसमें?
बेसिक बफर में
Ag प्लस से सेम चीज नहीं होगा क्या इसमें? पूछना था, ये कंफ्यूजन था.
नहीं, Ag प्लस बेसिक बफर में ऐसा कुछ नहीं करेगा. Cn minus you'll learn in due course is a strong base and a nucleophile. Fair enough?
ओके सर.
What mass of AgI will dissolve in 1 liter of 1 molar ammonia? ये भी ऐसे ही क्वेश्चन है. ये भी अच्छा ही क्वेश्चन
ऑप्शन
है.
ए है.
सर ए है.
ए है करेक्ट.
एक मिनट रुक जा, मेरे को तो पहला बात इसका आंसर ए आया नहीं था. अब जिसका आंसर ए आया वो मेरे को पहले बताएगा ए आया कैसे. But again, before I go there, I want to write the question. What mass of AgI? What mass of AgI? I think this is readable. I'm trying my level best to make it readable. I don't know if this font is supposed to be bigger than this. I could have made, PowerPoint presentations and all of them कुछ कर नहीं पाता हूँ. But I think, whatever I'm writing is visible. I think this is doable. 1 liter of 1 molar ammonia, ammonium hydroxide की बात है, given क्या दिया है, Kb दिया है, और अच्छा Kb दिया है, Kp दिया है. Kp of AgI is naturally it's going to be a very small value because it's a big time precipitate, and ये सब तुम लोग को ना मैं पहले कभी ना कभी बताया होऊंगा किसी न किसी अपॉर्चुनिटी पे. I would have told you.
सर
I don't remember if recently
दिल्ली.
सर दिल्ली होना चाहिए था मेरे ख्याल से.
मेरा भी दिल्ली
हाँ,
आना
सर.
चाहिए. एक
दिल्ली.
confusion
मेरा
है
भी
दोनों
दिल्ली
में.
है.
सर बट मेरा सर 0.0011 आ रहा, आंसर में 0.011 है, तो कैलकुलेशन गलती हो सकती है मेरे एंड
अच्छा
से.
मास है इधर. हाँ तो मास में तो डी आएगा.
तो
ये
दोनों बार तो 0.011 ही बोल रहा है. पहले बोला मेरा 0.011 आ रहा है, बट आंसर में 0.011 दिया हुआ है.
नहीं सर, मेरा 2 0 आ रहा है 11 के पहले.
11 के पहले कि 11 के पहले? यार भाई,
हाँ सर.
क्या करना, क्या है बोलना, करना क्या
नहीं
है?
सर मेरा, सर आप सॉल्व कर दीजिए सर, हम बाद में बोलते.
सुनना, यहाँ पर ना ये इतना ज्यादा बड़ा वैल्यू है. तुम लोग को 12 वालों को तो पता ही है कि हम लोग कॉम्प्लेक्स में देखे कोऑर्डिनेशन कंपाउंड में. ये बिल्कुल पहले जैसा प्रॉब्लम ही है. ये बिल्कुल
हाँ सर
पहले जैसा
सेम
प्रॉब्लम ही
प्रॉब्लम
है
है.
कि
पार्ट
एजीआई जो
3.
सॉलिड है, इसमें से जो मेरा Ag प्लस आ रहा है, और मैं ये ना प्रेफर करता हूँ ऐसे इस आयनिक फॉर्म में लिख लेना. ये जो S और S है ना, इसमें ये जो S है, ये वाला जो S है, दिस विल बी ईटन अप बाय अमोनिया. यस और नो?
हाँ सर, और वो कॉम्प्लेक्स सॉल्ट बना ले.
तो ये सोल्युबिलिटी
Yes,
मेरा
sir.
I माइनस से आएगा, एंड आई बिलीव कि all of this Ag plus with it's given ammonia remains constant throughout.
कॉम्प्लेक्स बना लेगा हाँ.
Almost all of this S, अभी S minus X S minus X में नहीं बोलता हूँ, ये this becomes very very small. This becomes
फिर
very
इसको
very
y ले
small.
सकते हैं टेंडिंग टू 0.
हाँ मतलब ठीक है, उतना भर जरूरत नहीं है, ये पूरा का पूरा ना ऑलमोस्ट ये बन जाता है बिकॉज ये वैल्यू इज सो हाई. ठीक है, तो अब मैं ना काम करूंगा केस से, जैसे मैं पहले काम क्या कर रहा था HCN का उल्टा वाले इक्वेशन से कर रहा था, यहाँ पर भी मैं केस से काम करूंगा. केस बीइंग अ वेरी लार्ज वैल्यू व्हिच इज से 1.6 into 10 to the power 7. I believe this is again, keep it simple. I've seen different textbooks, they simply mess it up for God knows what reason. They write two equations plus minus करता है, इतना परेशान करता है, उतना करने का ही नहीं है. कहानी जैसा समझो ना यार, कि जो Ag प्लस आ रहा है वो अमोनिया के साथ में कॉम्प्लेक्स बना दे रहा है, खत्म बात. Ammonia remaining virtually constant, it's given in the problem. And as I told you, I'll always stick to Ag plus eventually being Kp upon S. So if this is 1.6 into 10 to the power 7, and if this is solubility, and this is Kp upon S, and this is 1 molar, I believe, 1 molar, this would eventually look like S square is equal to 1.6 into 10 to the power 7 into Kp, which is 1.5 into 10 to the power minus 16 and root of. This is S root of. Now, I'll not be surprised if it's the value 4.9 into 10 to the
हाँ
power
सर
minus
ये
5 के आसपास.
4.9 10 to the power
हाँ
minus
सर
5
वही
आ
है,
रहा
फिर
है.
उसमें मल्टीप्लाई करना.
हाँ, तो I'll not be surprised कि अगर ये ऐसा एक क्वेश्चन आता है, I've told you multiple times. They do it deliberately. They do it deliberately with a lot of effort. You get the value, but this is not in grams. It's moles per liter. So you need to be wary of the fact that this is not the right answer. You need to multiply this with AgI का molecular mass, which naturally is 108 plus 127 है 235 को multiply करना. And when you multiply this with 235, you get something as 0.011. So ये एक common mistake हो सकता है. I'm not surprised that somebody came up with option E as the right answer. You need to change it to option D. ठीक है?
हाँ सर.
Let's talk about question 4 now. You have a doubt, you have a question, you can ask me. People who are going to be there in the full Bagan batch tomorrow, you can ask me more questions on ionic equilibrium. I'll be open to, all doubts tomorrow. Although I'll be teaching methods of preparation of alkyne and properties of alkyne, the flow chart is here in the WhatsApp group. So tomorrow full Bagan batch, I would be taking up class 11, I mean, all reactions of alkyne.
सर कल हम लोग का क्लास थोड़ी ना है, अब सैटरडे हो गया ना,
तो रूटीन चेंज हो गया.
Oh my God.
हम लोग का.
Yes.
हाँ सर.
कल कौन सा क्लास है?
सर कल कोई क्लास नहीं है.
सब लोग फ्री हो कल? सब लोग फ्री हो कल? मतलब फ्री हो गए यार, इसके पहले तो फ्री रहते थे मेरी क्लास के लिए. मैं कल ही क्लास लूंगा. ठीक है, ये रूटीन बाद में होगा. 22 तारीख को IPL का पहला मैच है यार, KKR RCB. टिकट खरीदने जा रहा हूँ मैं उसका. हाँ ना, 22 ही है ना सैटरडे?
हाँ सर.
यस सर.
अरे कल क्लास लूंगा, कल क्लास लूंगा. You would have heard about teachers postponing the class for some purpose. I would be preponing the class. कल लूंगा, कल मिलता हूँ. हाँ. I think it's fine with all of you, those who come to full Bagan Zenith class 11.
ठीक है सर.
कल लेता हूँ, कल. क्वेश्चन 4. अच्छा, मैं बताना भूल गया, मैं पहले बोला हूँ हालांकि कुछ लोग को मैं आपसे रोज ही क्लास लूंगा, ऑनलाइन क्लास में रोज ही लूंगा. कल मैं एटॉमिक स्ट्रक्चर का, बॉन्डिंग का, रेडॉक्स का काफी क्वेश्चन भेजूंगा. नंबर ऑफ मोल्स ऑफ अमोनियम क्लोराइड टू प्रिवेंट प्रेसिपिटेट ऑफ मैग्नीशियम हाइड्रोक्साइड. Number of moles of ammonium chloride to prevent precipitate of मैग्नीशियम हाइड्रोक्साइड. अगर मैं क्लास 12 में किसी स्टूडेंट को ये बात बोलूं, इवन 11 के लिए भी मैं बोला ये बात, ये ग्रुप एनालिसिस का प्रॉब्लम है बच्चे. ग्रुप एनालिसिस, ग्रुप 3 में अमोनियम क्लोराइड डालते हैं अमोनियम हाइड्रोक्साइड के साथ में, जिससे खाली आयरन एल्यूमिनियम क्रोमियम निकले, मैग्नीशियम मैंगनीज ये सब नहीं निकले। समझ में आ रहा है? अब मेरे को ना नेचुरली इसका एक्चुअल क्वेश्चन का आंसर मेरे को पता नहीं है, तो ऑप्शंस को एक बार भूल जाओ, ऑप्शंस को एक बार भूल जाओ। मैं रैंडमली ना एक वैल्यू ले लेता हूँ KSP ऑफ मैग्नीशियम हाइड्रोक्साइड, जो नेचुरली 10 टू द पावर -11 बहुत कॉमन लिया रहता है। यू कैन डू इट अफ्रेश, ठीक है? एंड यू विल नीड द वैल्यू ऑफ Kb ऑफ अमोनिया 10 टू द पावर -5। I mean, ammonia is good as ammonium hydroxide. Please go ahead and also tell me the logic behind this question. First of all, I'll be delighted if you can relate to the fact it's a question from group analysis, salt analysis. You had ammonium chloride along with ammonium hydroxide in group 3, so that only iron, chromium, aluminum precipitate. The lower group hydroxides do not precipitate. बच्चे लोग हाँ ना बोलो।
हाँ सर।
और कहानी होगा यहाँ से कि अगर 10 टू द पावर -11 है मैग्नीशियम और हाइड्रोक्साइड का लिमिटिंग वैल्यू, जहां पर मैग्नीशियम तुमको दिया हुआ है 10 टू द पावर -3, तो मैक्सिमम हाइड्रोक्साइड जितना तुम अलाउ कर सकते हो इस 10 टू द पावर -4 मोलर, so this would be 10 to the power -4 molar or less. This is a very nice problem. Trust me, this is real life practical salt analysis. You don't want OH minus to exceed 10 to the power -4. Please respond with a yes or no.
Yes sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
And where does this OH minus come from? This OH minus comes from NH4OH. तो एक क्वेश्चन में अगर बोलूं कि ग्रुप 3 में जब तुम अमोनियम क्लोराइड और अमोनियम हाइड्रोक्साइड डालते हो तो पहले क्या डालते हो? ग्रुप 3 में तुम्हारा आयरन है, एल्यूमिनियम है, क्रोमियम है, ये रेडिश ब्राउन, ये जेलाटिनस व्हाइट, ये क्रोमियम सॉल्ट्स आर ग्रीन, ये प्रेसिपिटेट्स आता है ग्रुप 3 में। द रिएजेंट इज अमोनियम क्लोराइड प्लस अमोनियम हाइड्रोक्साइड। यू नीड टू ऐड अमोनियम क्लोराइड बिफोर अमोनियम हाइड्रोक्साइड. You need to add ammonium chloride before ammonium hydroxide. I think I'm being understood. You need to add ammonium chloride before ammonium hydroxide. Is Abhishek Banerjee there in the class? Is Abhishek Banerjee there in the class? Anyway, he was there to begin with. Anyone from Barakpur right now? Anyone from Barakpur right now?
Yes, sir.
I can see Priyanshu or
Yes, sir.
want to tell me?
Yes.
RK Ashu. RK.
Sir, Aryan from Barrackpur.
বাহ, খুব ভালো। এর আগে ক্লাসগুলোটাও দেখে নিও, হ্যাঁ একটা ক্লাস আর আমি অনলাইন দিয়েছিলাম সেটাও দেখে নিও। আর আমি বলবো এর পরিচিত করতে হবে। শোনো, কথাটা বুঝতে পারছো তো? Rest of you are able to understand me?
हाँ सर।
कहानी है यार, तुम अमोनियम क्लोराइड कितना डालोगे कि मैग्नीशियम हाइड्रोक्साइड नहीं निकलेगा? ग्रुप 5 में मैग्नीशियम हाइड्रोक्साइड, 5 में नहीं है, 6 में, सॉरी 5 में बेरियम कैल्शियम स्ट्रोंसियम नहीं नहीं नहीं। हाँ ठीक है, 4 में जिंक मैंगनीज कोबाल्ट निकल, 5 में बेरियम कैल्शियम स्ट्रोंसियम 5 में। अरे हाँ ना बोलो, अमोनियम क्लोराइड पहले डालना पड़ता है जिससे अमोनियम आकर के इक्विलिब्रियम को पीछे ले जाए और इक्विलिब्रियम को पीछे ले जाके OH माइनस को इसके कम रखे। दिस इज द लिमिटिंग वैल्यू ऑफ OH माइनस। OH माइनस से इससे ज्यादा नहीं होना चाहिए OH माइनस। चलो हाँ ना बोलो।
Yes sir.
Yes.
আর আবার ওই বাফার এর সলিউশনটা চলে এসেছে। I would want to write it as a buffer equation because that's the way we have understood a mixture of ammonium hydroxide and ammonium chloride. But at the same time, I would want people to realize that more than a buffer, it's a basic act of common and effect where you want POS to be 4 and this is going to be the pKb, and you would want to make sure that you have enough ammonium. Ammonia কত? ammonia 0.02 এটা দেওয়া আছে, pKb দেওয়া আছে। pKb কত? 5। बच्चे लोग हाँ ना बोलो।
हाँ सर।
हाँ
हाँ सर।
यहाँ पर अमोनियम कितना आएगा? 0.2 आएगा, देख तो। -1 आएगा ना।
0.2.
10 to the power -3.
ठीक है, चेक कर रहे हो तो बच्चे लोग, कुछ गड़बड़ तो नहीं किया हो ना?
सर ये
नहीं सर, कोई गड़बड़ नहीं।
0.2 नहीं होगा क्या ये?
अमोनिया 0.02 दिया दोस्त।
नहीं नहीं, NH4 प्लस 0.2 नहीं होगा क्या? 2 into 10 to
ये
the minus.
-1 है, तो दिस रेशियो नीड्स टू बी 1/10।
हाँ
हाँ सर,
इसीलिए तो
ठीक है, तो
0.2
2 into 10⁻³
सो इसके पीछे का लॉजिक आप समझा रहे थे ना, वो ग्रुप
अच्छा,
एनालिसिस वाला,
पहले
वो आप
पहले इसको
वापस
पहले
एक्सप्लेन कर सकते हो?
पहले इसको सॉर्ट आउट करते हैं।
सर ये तो सही है,
लोग
मतलब log इज इक्वल टू -1 आ जाएगा, तो 10 to the power -1, so 1/10
हाँ
into
into 2 into
0.02,
10 to the
सेम
power
यही
minus।
आंसर आएगा।
हाँ
ना, ये तुम लोग खुद करो, ये मेरे को बताओ, ये राइट है कि रॉन्ग? मतलब तुम लोग को ना
सर सही
शर्म आना
है
चाहिए मेरे को।
राइट है सर।
सर, इस तरफ -1 जाएगा, log से वो 10 to the power -1 हो जाएगा, और 0.02 उधर जाएगा तो 2 into 10 to the power
ठीक है,
-1।
तो फाइनली
हाँ
हाँ
सर,
सर,
right।
सही है।
यस सर।
मेहुल बाबू, तुम जान ले लो मेरा यार।
सर आप वो ग्रुप एनालिसिस वाला रीजनिंग एक बार वापस समझा सकते
अरे छोड़ ना, पहले मेरे को मेहुल से बात करने दे। मेहुल कोई बात बोलता है ना, तो मेरे को ना थोड़ा सा उसके बारे में सोचना पड़ता है। एकदम चुप हो गया है।
हाँ सर, पता नहीं हमको मेरे हिसाब से तो पॉइंट हमें गलत देख लिया होगा, मे बी कुछ
कोई बात नहीं, कोई बात नहीं मेरा भाई, आगे बढ़ते हैं।
हो? सर आप एक्सप्लेन कर
ठीक है,
देते हैं
एक्सप्लेन करने का यही है कि
ग्रुप
तू जब मेरे
एनालिसिस।
पास तू मेरे से जब शॉर्ट एनालिसिस पढ़ने आएगी, तो मैं तेरे को बताऊंगा कि जो पहले प्रेसिपिटेट होता है उसका केएसपी वैल्यू कम होता है, जो बाद में
हाँ,
प्रेसिपिटेट होता है उसका केएसपी वैल्यू
इसकी
ज्यादा
वैल्यू
होता
ज्यादा
है।
होता है। हाँ
हाँ, तो हम लोग ग्रुप 2 में हम लोग एसिडिक मीडियम H2S पास करते हैं, ग्रुप 4 में अल्कलाइन मीडियम में पास करते हैं कि ग्रुप 2 में जो सल्फाइड होता है उसका केएसपी वैल्यू कम होता है, और सल्फाइड को कंट्रोल करते हैं H तक जाकर कॉमन इफेक्ट लेकर के। उससे मेरे को फोन करना, खत्म हो रहा क्लास, अभी क्लास के बाद मेरे को फोन कर, 5 मिनट फोन में बता देता हूँ।
ठीक है सर।
5 बहुत मजेदार प्रॉब्लम है, 5 बहुत मजेदार प्रॉब्लम है, सिलेक्टिव प्रेसिपिटेशन। 5 is about selective precipitation. Selective precipitation.
सर
Selective
99.83% आया।
मैं आंसर तो दे ही दिया हूँ। Ag प्लस 0.1
अच्छा,
मोलर, Ag 2.2 मोलर, है ना? बोलते हैं एक सोल्यूशन है जिसमें Ag प्लस भी है 0.1 मोलर, और Hg 2 प्लस भी है 0.1 मोलर। ठीक है, THP वैल्यू में जो डिफरेंस है वो थोड़ा देख लेते हैं। THP values are given to be 8.5 into 10 to the power -17. And British, are you there? British, are you there? Which will precipitate first? Which will precipitate first?
सर हम लोग I- का कंसेंट्रेशन निकालेंगे, फिर जिसका सबसे कम होगा वो पहले वो कर जाएगा
तुम
precipitate।
निकालो ना, कोई मना किया है क्या?
सर वो Hg2I2 का सबसे कम आएगा
हाँ,
सॉल्युबिलिटी 5 into 10 to the power -13।
-13।
ये कितना आएगा?
तो I² होगा।
वेरी गुड, वेरी गुड, गुड जॉब, गुड जॉब अक्षरी। 5 into 10 to the power -13, यहाँ पर आएगा 8.5 into 10 to the power -16, है ना?
हाँ
अरे मैं
सर।
ठीक कर रहा हूँ तो?
यस सर।
तो पहले कौन सा प्रेसिपिटेट होगा? AgI पहले प्रेसिपिटेट होगा कि Hg2I2 प्रेसिपिटेट पहले होगा?
सर
AG
Which will
Hg2।
precipitate first?
AGI
हाँ,
AGI पहले प्रेसिपिटेट होगा।
बाकी लोग को बोलने दो ना। Which will precipitate first? देखो सब चुपचाप है। कितना मजेदार केस है इसका, PhD कम है
सर
लेकिन
AgI।
AgI पहले प्रेसिपिटेट कर रहा है। सोचो, दिमाग लगाओ, अच्छा प्रॉब्लम है, पुराना जेई का प्रॉब्लम है, इसका प्रॉब्लम पहले सब्जेक्टिव आता था। इसका KSP वैल्यू कम है। एक्चुअली यहाँ पर थोड़ा सा इसका टफ कॉल बिकॉज बोथ ऑफ देम आर इन ग्रुप 1 ओनली। क्लोराइड्स का बात कर रहे हैं, यहाँ पर एराइड का बात कर रहे हैं, जो भी है, लेकिन मजेदार सिचुएशन है। बात समझ में आ रहा है? अगर खाली एक रैंडम सिंपल सा क्वेश्चन दे दूं, दोनों का केएसपी दे दूं, बोलो विच विल प्रेसिपिटेट फर्स्ट ऑन एडिंग I minus gradually to a mixture of Ag plus and Ag22 plus, maximum people will write Ag2I2, but the right answer I reckon is AgI, because you can see this is going to be a smaller value. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Now, what is selective precipitation? You have to precipitate AgI, you have to precipitate AgI till Ag2I2 does not precipitate, and Ag2I2 will not precipitate till I minus exceeds this value. So you can precipitate AgI. देख एक बात समझ, यहाँ पर AgI का precipitate चालू हो जाएगा, मतलब this is to make the solution saturated. Value exceeding this will mean AgI gets to precipitate, but it's about precipitation which is separation. Selective precipitation is about separation. You need to separate the two as well. Am I being understood? You need to separate the two as well.
Yes, sir.
So, what I'm writing is, you can precipitate AgI
till the concentration
till
of I minus is 5 into 10 to the power minus 13.
till I minus is 5 into 10 to the power minus 13. Yes. तो ये जिसको समझ में आ गया कि KSP लेना हूं AgI का और I माइनस ले रहा हूं मैं Ag2I2 का, ये जिसको समझ में आ गया उसको समझ में आ जाएगा कि सेलेक्टिव प्रेसिपिटेशन का प्रॉब्लम कैसे सॉल्व। मतलब यहाँ पर तुम्हारा AgI का प्रेसिपिटेट चालू हो जाएगा, तुम I माइनस बढ़ाओगे तो Ag प्लस घटता जाएगा, I माइनस बढ़ाओगे तो Ag प्लस घटता जाएगा। You know what is KSP? KSP is eventually Ag plus and I minus. And I have told you multiple times, these are the concentrations which are left in the solution. These are the concentrations which are floating, suspended, dissolved in the medium. So if you keep on increasing I minus, Ag plus will keep on decreasing, and Ag plus keeping low, I minus बढ़ा रहे हो, Ag plus कम हो रहा है, about Ag plus getting precipitated. So you can precipitate AgI till Ag2I2 does not precipitate, till this value is not exceeded, because with this value Ag2I2 would just reach saturation. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So Ag plus minimum, Ag plus left, Ag plus not saturated. In a mixture of these two would be like and what is the percentage
1.7 into 10 to
1.7 into 10 to the power minus 4.
is like, whatever value you get out here, 0.1 minus this, 0.1 minus this. So what is the value which you get here? Please tell me. ये तो multiple हो जाएगा.
1.7 into 10 to the power minus 4.
1% 10 to the power minus 4. Is the percent which is precipitated? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
So it's not like they'll want you to do this steep calculation every now and then, but this is the formal way of attempting this question. I think I've been able to convey this to you. I will talk more about it in inorganic chemistry, but the basic idea and the basic science behind precipitation is always going to be a function of KSP value. I'm using the KSP of AgI. I'm using the KSP of AgI, and I'm writing the I minus, which will saturate Ag2I2, because this is the maximum I minus which I'm allowed to have till Ag2I2 does not precipitate or till it's saturated with Ag2I2. ठीक है बच्चे लोग?
हाँ सर.
So I hope
sir.
to see you with more questions on ionic equilibrium in due course. But for a change, I would switch to topics of class 11 physical chemistry like atomic structure, redox, titration and all. उससे भी तेरा मुझे इतना डाउट है ना, वो मैं कल एक बार में एक शीट में बना करके सॉल्व कर देता हूँ. ग्रुप में क्वेश्चन भेजिए लड़की इतना सारा, बाकी लोग उसको अटेम्प्ट करो. I would not want to do it till everybody has given it a try. Stay happy, stay healthy. See you all tomorrow. God bless you. Bye bye. मैं कल क्लास ले रहा हूँ by the way, फुल बगान में. ठीक है. Take care. Bye bye.
Bye, sir. Thank you.
God bless.